Here we go again, TikTok. Breaker keeps tripping. Let's go see what's going on with it. Here we are, we made it to the unit. So first thing we can tell right off looking at the unit, you can see the way it's shaking. The reason it's shaking like that is because someone put the wrong fan motor on it. They put a universal fan motor, it's too heavy, and because it's heavy it oscillates. That's the first thing I noticed as a technician. The second thing I noticed is it's disgusting. I don't know what that is. So what I'm gonna do now, because the breaker keeps tripping, I'm gonna go ahead and take the panel off so I can access all the wires from the unit and see what kind of amperage we're pulling on the compressor and the fan motor. So here's what we see. When we're looking in here, I see we got, that was for that universal fan. This was the typical capacitor that ran the actual unit itself. And it's not being used as the fan anymore. That's the reason there's nothing on that one. And also this is a hard start that allow the unit itself to get a bigger boost on the compressor upon the initial startup to give it extra torque, because at some point in the past it's probably had a overcome a lot of resistance to get started. Maybe it's starting to wear out, for example. Hey, but shout out to the people that actually put something there to support it, you know. Most people just leave the thing hanging. So what we see when we hook up to the unit is that we're pulling 27.85 amps. Now if we can go down here, we might be able to see, we see the compressor is supposed to run 22, and which is the typical run load amp. Run load amps, RLA, on the data sticker, if you look at the bottom of the unit, tells you what the typical amps that unit will run at. So when you're trying to figure out, is this thing pulling a lot more power than what it's supposed to, you kind of have an idea what it typically runs. There is a lot more advanced equations. You can actually figure that out without doing that, but I won't do that in this video. The next thing I wanted to point out was that 22 amps that is pulling 27. So it's not really a lot more above it, because that is just the compressor that pulls 22. The fan motor itself is supposed to pull a few amps as well. So it doesn't really seem that it's that much. An issue might be because over an extended period of time, we'll have to look at this gauge wire and make sure it's the correct gauge. Let's go ahead and look at that. So the typical wire is supposed to be 10-2 in most units. In this particular situation, because this unit shakes so badly, it could have loosened that screw up. So I'm gonna make a little follow-up video just to make sure. I'm gonna go tighten down this wire and follow for part 2 so we can continue the diagnosis.